Hello friends, today we discuss change management. Is there anybody who dislikes changes? Are you ready to change? When you were at your school with your favorite teachers and close friends, you enjoyed your school days a lot. But when you were shifted to a college, at first it was quite miserable. It was really a horrible thing because you missed your familiar environments at school. You missed your favorite loving and caring teachers. You missed your dearest and very close friends. And you took a lot of time to familiarize with the new environment in the college. After some time, you began to love your college and new friends. Now, college is your most favorite place. This usually happens whenever we get changed to a new environment. We may have some ill feelings and discomforts when we move on to a new and unfamiliar environment. We dislike unfamiliar environments. We feel unsecured when we are in a strange circumstance. We all like to be comfortable in the familiar environments. When people are comfortable with an environment and enjoy familiarities with such circumstances, they usually dislike changes and prefer to continue with the prevailing familiar situations. However, we know that some changes are necessary for our growth and development. If we had objected to move on to college for higher studies, it would have been quite disastrous. If the people dislike changes and want to continue with the same old lifestyles, no growth can be expected from such people. Because of this, it is said that changes are necessary. The human beings should change. The business organizations should change. There is an old saying that the change is the only thing that cannot be changed. Greek philosopher Heraclitus once said, change is the only constant thing. Yes, change is inevitable. Everything should change. When the employees of an organization resist to change, or when they discard modern advanced technologies and strategies, how can a business grow and develop? Some changes are necessary for any organization. At the time of computerization of banks, many employees found it very difficult to adjust with the technology and to adapt such changes. At that time, they thought that it would be quite impossible for them to study computer operations. And therefore, they resisted changes and revolted against computerization process. They wanted to continue the existing familiar manual operations. We know that the organizations need to modernize their strategies and technologies to be competitive and successful. As all of you know, the telecommunication sector is growing very fast. Now the mobile handsets are available with 5G. 5G offers faster connectivity at lower power consumption. It is said that with 5G, mobile connectivity is faster than wired broadband. It makes possible improved innovations on the Internet of Things, virtual reality, cloud services, etc. What does this mean? The companies which make mobile handsets and provide services should enhance their technologies and they should come up with innovative and technologically advanced products like 5G. Otherwise, they cannot compete in the market. They will be thrown out of the market. We know what happened to Nokia. During the early years of 21st century, Nokia was one of the most recognizable and valuable brands for mobile handsets in the world. At its height, Nokia had a global market share in mobile phones of over 40%. It is to be noted that Nokia started manufacturing mobile phones in the year 1987 and started manufacturing smartphones in the year 1996. Within a time span of 10 years, Nokia became world's most valuable smartphone brand. In 2007, 20 years after Nokia had started manufacturing mobile phones, Apple introduced iPhone. iPhone had better technology and more advanced operating system. Unfortunately, Nokia concentrated only on hardware and it discarded the technological developments that took place in the software area. It could not introduce changes in time. At the same time, Apple was extremely keen on both hardware and software of mobile phones. Nokia could not make changes in time and declined the performance in market. And finally what happened? The mobile phone business was sold to Microsoft in 2014. Companies and organizations should change their strategies and technologies not only to grow and develop but also even to exist, survive in the market. Virtually every organization must undergo a transition or change at some point to remain viable and profitable. When the management tries to introduce such changes, the employees fear that they would lose their comforts. And they think that it would be quite difficult for them to familiarize with the new environments. Therefore, when introduce changes in an organization, the managers should expect some resistances from the part of employees. Because human beings in general do not want to make changes in their familiar and comfortable work environments. This is the situation where change management gets relevance. In this class, we discuss what is change and how it can be managed. What is change? Change is the variation. It is the difference. It is alteration or modification to become different. Change is the process of replacing the existing with a new or refreshed one. It makes the environment different. It may also cause loss of original identity or it may substitute the existing with another. Thus, change makes a difference. As far as an individual is concerned, the change may be the difference in character, lifestyle, behavior, attitude, habits, etc. When the change happens, the individual gets a new personality. When the change happens in an organization, the organization gets a new personality. Under management studies, we often think about organizational changes. When an organization changes, it gets refreshed. Its performance is refreshed. Strategies get revised. And overall performance is transformed to a new level. Organizational change takes place when a company or business alters major components of its organization. It may be by altering its culture, technologies, or infrastructure, or manufacturing or marketing operations, or strategies, or its internal process. Organizational change may also take place when there is change in top level managerial personnel. In an organization, the change is mainly affecting four areas. They are technology, products, management, and human resources. Most of the organizational changes are taking place because of technological advancements. Better technology means better production process, effective use of raw materials, quality products, lesser cost of operation, etc. When old technology is replaced with a new one, the overall performance of the organization changes, work culture changes, and the competitiveness is improved. The organizational changes affect the product also. The change may happen when the organization starts producing better quality products. Change may also happen when the organization starts manufacturing some additional products. The organization can also decide to produce and market more customized products. In short, product or service is a major area of change. Another area of organizational change is the management and administration. It includes changes in organizational goals and mission, policy changes, changes in organization culture, organization structure, etc. The organizational change may also happen when there is a change in the top level management. When a CEO or MD takes charge, some changes can be expected. Another important area is the human resources. Actually, human factor is the most important factor which require maximum attention during any change process. Whatever may be the nature and process of change, it ultimately requires human action and involvement. Without the cooperation and participation of the human factor, no change can be implemented in any organization. Therefore, whatever may be the change, it is ultimately the human factor that is to be changed to make it effective. No change can be implemented without changing employee behavior, attitude, skills, and team spirit. What is change management? Change management simply means the management of changes in an organization. Change management is the management function that guides how the organization prepare, equip, and support individuals to successfully adopt changes, to drive organizational success and outcomes. Thus, change management is a management function. Change management is a collective term for all approaches related to preparing and supporting individuals, teams, and organization in making organizational change. With this function, management prepares the organization to accept changes and to adapt with the new situation. With the change management function, management prepares the human resources inside the organization to equip themselves to handle the new situation. Change management is the structured approach for supporting the individuals in an organization to move from their own current states to better future states. It employs a structured approach to ensure that changes are implemented smoothly and successfully to achieve lasting benefits. Change management is the process of preparing the people, equipment, and the organization to perform more effectively in a different environment. On the other side, in general, changes may be of different types. Some changes are gradual. It happens slowly. Global warming is taking place gradually. In the case of organizations, the technological changes are taking place gradually. Such changes are called incremental changes. Here the changes are gradually improving. Such changes are evolutionary in nature. We know that the first computer, Abacus, was quite big in size and with complex operations. Now our computers are small in size but very precise and effective in performance. This change was incremental. It was gradual. The change happened very slowly, step by step changes. It occurred over a period of time. On the other side, some changes occur suddenly. Such a change is called step change. Step change occurs rapidly. It is a revolutionary change. Such changes make drastic changes in the way the business operates. Sometimes it may be risky. Sometimes it may bring dramatic twists in the way how the business proceeds. For example, when coronavirus spread all over the world as a pandemic, the business organizations had to face an unexpected setback in the business activities, and they were compelled to change their strategies. It affected the whole world within no time, and the business had to change their operations very quickly. Many business organizations could not adapt to changes quickly, and such organizations could not survive for long. Many organizations found new opportunities in the new environment and shifted their operations. Such changes are quick. The organization cannot survive and grow unless it makes immediate changes. Organization changes may also be classified as proactive and reactive. Proactive change is the one which is accepted in anticipation of a different situation in near future. We know that some automobile industries have started manufacturing electric vehicles. Now electric cars and scooters are available in markets. The manufacturers of cars and scooters anticipate a setback in the use of fossil fuels in near future. On one side, the availability of fossil fuels is diminishing. On the other side, the fossil fuels cause higher pollution. And in near future, it would be quite disastrous to use such fuels. Here, the automobile industries anticipate a higher demand for electric vehicles and enter the markets with electric vehicles as early as possible. This is a precautionary change. Here, the automobile industries anticipate higher demand for electric vehicles in near future and start manufacturing and selling such vehicles very early. This is proactive change. Proactive changes are taking place when the leaders have long vision and foresight. Such leaders equip their organizations to face the changes. Such organization need not worry about at the time of actual changes because they are already equipped to face the challenges. They can perform smoothly in the changed atmosphere also. Another change, it is reactive. Reactive change happens when the organization is forced to make changes due to external or internal environmental pressures. It is the reaction to the changes in the environment. Reactive change refers to a change which is undertaken when the organization is forced by some factors, either external or internal. Here the organization responds to events and adopts changes when it is forced to do so. This is what happened in Nokia. They could not anticipate changes in time and therefore failed in the market in real situations. Then they realized their problems and had to react accordingly. Okay, why should an organization change? Why changes are necessary? Why changes are important? Change is required in some situations or certain circumstances make the change inevitable. These circumstances are called forces behind the change. We can see what the forces behind the changes in an organization are. There are mainly two types of forces behind the change: external forces and internal forces. These forces are the real reasons behind the change. External forces are external to the organization. It may be technology, market conditions, social changes, political situations, etc. Customer demand, competition, changes in cost, legislation, ethics, social values, etc., etc. may also be the external forces behind the change. Internal forces of change arise from inside the organization and relate to the internal functioning of the organization. Changes are needed when there is low performance, low satisfaction, conflict, or the introduction of new mission, new leadership, etc. All these are internal forces behind change. In the case of external forces, when technology improves, the organizations should move along with it. When feature phone technology was replaced by smartphones, the companies had to change their technology. When 2G was replaced by 3G and again 3G was followed by 4G and 5G, the companies had to make changes accordingly. Technology is a major force behind change. The market condition is another external force behind change. Now, from what type of retail shop that you want to make your purchases? Now the customers prefer well-furnished supermarkets to make their purchases. The traditional stores located in rural and village areas are not capable of attracting many customers. What does this mean? The traditional retail stores should change their outlook and ambience to attract more customers. If the customers demand modern supermarkets, the traditional retailers should change accordingly. The next external force is the social changes. Some social changes demand changes in the way how the organizations perform. For example, Now the online retail business is getting relevance. The fast food business is getting speedy growth. Catering services are becoming attractive. Electronic medias are enjoying wide acceptance. When there are changes in social attitude and behavior, the business organizations should also make changes. Otherwise, they would be thrown out of the market within no time. Another force behind the change is the political and legal situations. Political and legal environment make the changes mandatory. Government may interfere into the business. It may introduce licensing and sometimes delicensing policies. It may put some restrictions on pricing and advertising. Sometimes government may make changes in customs regulations, industrial policies, etc. Such decisions and enactments from the part of government may cause corresponding impact and consequent changes in organizations. Like these external forces, some internal forces are also demanded changes in organizations. Internal forces are nature of workforce, changes in managerial personnel, deficiencies in existing organization structure, etc. Change may become essential if the performance of the organization is low, when the profit is decreasing. Change is required when the organization often fails to compete with others. Change becomes essential when the human relation issues in the organization are increasing. Sometimes some changes are recommended to avoid developing inertia among personnel. The organizational changes may occur when one or more members in the management team are replaced by another. When a new managing director or general manager comes, he may bring in several changes in the operational and strategic levels. Sometimes the present organization structure may be not suitable to adopt newer and effective production and marketing strategies. In such a situation, some internal changes may become essential. Internal changes in an organization may take place at three levels. These levels are individual level, group level, and organizational level. This is called levels of change management. Individual level changes are changes happening to individuals. Individual changes may take place due to changes in job assignment, changes in the maturity level of employees over passage of time, and it may be due to transfer of employees or because of promotion, etc. Job assignments may be changed because of job rotation and because of internal working arrangement. Transfer, promotion, and demotion may make individual changes. Generally, individual level changes have no direct impact in an organizational performance. However, individual level change may affect the behavior of individuals and consequently it may affect the group he belongs. And it may have impacts on organization. Therefore, individual level changes are relevant in the change management process at the organization level. How are the individual level changes managed in an organization? The management should know how the change is affecting an individual. Some individuals may become more productive when they are assigned with higher responsibilities, but some others may show lower productivity at higher positions. Recognitions, punishments, transfers, etc. may also affect different persons differently. Managers should know when the individual performs better and when his productivity lowers. Individual change management requires understanding how people experience changes and how the changes can be effectively linked to productivity. It also requires knowing what will help people make a successful transition. What messages do people need to hear? When and how to teach someone a new skill? How to coach people? How to demonstrate new behaviors? And what makes changes in someone's work? After individual level, the second level, the next level is the group level change management. In an organization, there may be formal and informal groups. Groups have high influences on the performance of organization. Formal groups such as trade unions may resist changes directly. Informal groups may affect the quality and productivity of individual performances. When implement changes, the managers should be aware of its impact on various formal and informal groups. Third level is the organizational level. Organization level changes are taking place with the higher level planning of an organization. Senior and higher level authorities are involved in this change. It affects the entire organization. It affects all the individuals and groups in an organization. Such changes may be implemented in an organization with long years of planning and execution process. At the organization level, we can see different types of changes. Generally, organization level changes may be of four types. They are strategic, structural, process-oriented and people-oriented changes. The strategic organizational change take place when the top level management makes changes in the organization strategies. Structural changes are the changes in the organization structure. Organization structure is the pattern of relationships in an organization. In an organization, there are different types of formal relations such as vertical, horizontal, diagonal, etc. It shows how the people and positions are related with each other. When there is change in the organization structure, it is called structural change. Process-oriented changes are those related to production and operation process. It may happen due to technological developments, production process, automation, information processing, etc. Process changes may involve additional investment of capital, training and retraining of employees, replacements of personnel, changes in operational methods, etc. Next type of organization change is people-oriented changes. People-oriented changes are directed towards performance improvement, group cohesion, dedication, and loyalty to the organization, and developing a sense of self-actualization among people. This is possible through closer interaction with employees. Special behavioral training also may be useful in some situations. When we make an overall evaluation of change and change management, we can realize that every change has some common features. The experts in change management call this as elements of change. Now we can have a discussion on elements of change. There are four elements to change. The first one, change is the result of dissatisfaction on present situation. It's a fact that we feel that change is necessary when we have some dissatisfaction on the present situation. If we are satisfied with the present situation, we may not think about change. If the present position is not comfortable or the present strategy is not effective, we think about a change. The second element, change requires a vision for better alternative. To change something, we should have an idea and vision about a better future. In order to change, we must have a different target to achieve, a different position to attain. Or we should have an idea about a different strategy to apply. For example, when you make your graduation in commerce, you happen to know that to get an admission for MBA program in a well-known management school, you need to score at least 95% marks. Now your score is 85%. That means you need to score more. You need to work more. Your strategies should be changed. Now you are thinking about changing your strategies only because of the awareness of the present performance and the required performance. Here you want to change your study methods as you have a clear vision about your future. If you have no idea or awareness on these matters, no change can be expected from you. Change requires a vision for better alternative or better future. The third element, necessary strategies are to be developed and to be implemented to make the changes effective. Mere expectation about the change cannot bring in change automatically. It is necessary to develop strategies for change. It is necessary to implement those strategies. That means there must be action to make the change effective. The fourth element, where there is change, there will be resistance to change also. Like Newton's law, if there is an action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If there is an effort to make change, there will be a resistance to change also. We cannot expect that the entire organization would accept changes positively. There will be some persons who think that there is no need of such a change. They may argue that the proposed changes would be not good for the organization. There will be someone who oppose change. There will be some resistance to change. At the same time, we know that to make organizational changes, wholehearted support and cooperation from the part of employees are necessary. Because to make changes, the persons in the organizations need to change themselves. Their attitude needs to change. Their behavior needs to change. How can the management change their attitude and behavior? Some change management strategies are needed. Such strategies can be formulated only after knowing the exact reasons for the resistances. Why change is resisted? Why people in the organization always oppose changes? Cotter and Schlesinger opine that there are 4 reasons behind the resistance to change. The reasons are parochial self-interest, misunderstanding due to improper or inadequate communication, low tolerance level of persons, and different assessment of the situation. We can see what are the factors noted by Cotter and Schlesinger. The first reason is the parochial self-interest. Some persons are very narrow-minded. They are not ready to compromise with anyone for anything. Such people are very selfish and therefore they always concentrate on their own safety and comfort. They will be irritated when they face any change in their comforts and safety. This attitude is called by Cotter and Schlesinger as parochial self-interest. They say that people resist change as they are more concerned with the implications of change for themselves and how the change may affect their personal interest rather than considering the effects for the success of the business. The second reason for the resistance is the misunderstandings. The misunderstanding may occur due to poor or inadequate communication. This means that the people resist changes as they have not much idea about the changes and its benefits. They may have some misunderstanding about the changes. Here the duty of the management is to communicate the change properly and ensure strong cooperation of the people. Any kind of misunderstandings due to communication problems may lead to resistance to change. Another reason is the lower tolerance level of people inside the organization. There are some people in the organization who are very adamant and do not ready to accept any kind of changes. They are not ready to adjust with anyone for even silly matters. They have their own comfort positions and self-made way of doing work. They wish to continue with it and won't tolerate any alterations in position, place or process. When they change, they feel some insecurity. And because of this, they fear any changes. They fear that their stable work environment would be collapsed when they make any change. Another reason for resistance to change is the self-assessment of the situation. Some people think that such changes are not necessary now. And some others think that the proposed changes are quite nonsense. Nothing would happen because of this change. If the people in the organization have any disagreements over the advantages and benefits of the proposed changes, they won't cooperate with the changes. Sometimes the entire organization may oppose the changes. It is the organizational resistance. It is called organizational inertia. Organizational inertia is the tendency for an organization as a whole to resist change and want to maintain the status quo. Companies that suffer from inertia become inflexible and cannot adapt to environmental or internal demands for change. Usually, the organizational inertia occurs due to bad organization culture. It may happen due to various reasons. The internal relations may not be cordial. The reward systems may be defective. Or the management approach may be hostile. Timing of change is also very important. If the management introduces changes suddenly without much preparation, of course the organizational inertia is possible. Okay, so far we could see some reasons for the resistance to change. Resistance to change is quite natural, and it is the duty of the management to create a suitable environment in the organization to accept changes. This is actually known as change management. Efficient management team can effectively convert the resistance into cooperation. The management team should be able to convince the people that the proposed changes would reduce the burden of their work. The management should prove that the proposed changes are easy to perform. The proposed changes would result in higher growth in organizational profitability and personal benefits of the people. Management has a lot to do in the change process. They should listen their persons. Their fears and concerns should be addressed properly. They should be filled with confidence and enthusiasm. If the people are optimistic in the outcome of changes, they would definitely be with the management. Now we can think about the management of changes. As we have discussed so far, the most important thing is to minimize the uncertainties and fears in the minds of people. For the purpose, managers should regularly make communications with the persons inside the organization. They should keep explaining the reasons to change. They should also explain the threads of not changing. Here, the managerial responsibility is to win the hearts of people around them. And for this, it is better to be transparent as far as possible. Cotter and Schlesinger put forward 6 steps to overcome resistance to change. These steps are education and communication, participation and involvement, facilitation and support, negotiation and bargaining, manipulation and co-option, and explicit and implicit coercion. We can see these steps one by one. The first step is to educate and communicate the people about the changes. Most of the resistances are due to communication and information problems. One of the best methods to overcome these problems is to communicate and educate the people about the importance and necessity of changes even before the change decisions are taken. Such preliminary and precautionary discussions would help employees to be prepared themselves to accept the changes. It will also reduce the unwanted and baseless rumors concerning the effects of change in the organization. The second step is participation and involvement. Here the employees are involved in the change process from the very beginning itself. As a first step, we could already see the management make decisions with the employees and let them know the necessity of changes. Now they know that the change is needed and they should involve in the process. Under this second stage, the management participates and involves the employees in the change process. When the employees feel that they are leading the change process, they become enthusiastic and therefore they can accept and enjoy the result with much more interest and passion. The third step is facilitation and support. When discussed the reasons for resistance to change, we could see that the resistances are occurring mainly due to some adjustment problems and anxieties of employees. Under this third stage, the management deals with such problems. Here the management makes the employees realize that the entire management team is with the employees and the problems and difficulties of them would be dealt with utmost preference. During the change process, the employees may feel insecurity and they require strong support from the part of management. Therefore, under this stage, the management should convince the employees that they would be with the employees and would address all their problems and fears. Fourth stage is negotiation and bargaining. Management should realize that there may remain some resistances even after all conciliation efforts. Some may be adamant in opposing changes. In certain situations, it would be necessary to make some negotiations with such persons and groups and get into some compromises. Sometimes the groups which oppose changes may be more powerful and destructive. Here, the only thing left to the management is to offer some incentives and considerations to such persons or groups. In some situations, the management may be compelled to make changes in a different manner than originally intended or with some alterations. Next step is manipulation and co-option. This step is required when all the previous steps do not become effective and fruitful. Organizational change is not an easy task. Sometimes the management find it very difficult to implement changes because of the rigid attitude of some persons. According to Cotter and Schlesinger, under such rigid and adamant circumstances, the management can proceed with some manipulation techniques to co-opt with the resistors. What is this co-option strategy? This may involve offering rewards to win over key influential people who will then get others to agree to change. One of the co-option strategies is to bring the resistor into the change management planning process and give him opportunities in participating and leading the change process. This involves selecting leaders of the resistors to participate in the change effort. These leaders can be given a symbolic role in decision making without threatening the change effort. Still, there is a danger behind this. If these leaders feel that they are being tricked, they are likely to push resistance even further. Now it is the last step. This is the last resort to implement change. This is explicit and implicit coercion. If other methods are not successful or possible, then it is necessary to force changes. Under this stage, managers can explicitly or implicitly force employees to accept changes by making clear that resistance to change may lead to losing jobs, firing, transfer, or even depromotion. This is a clear way of threatening employees to accept changes or to get ready for punishments. Even after all these efforts, sometimes the change management may end with a failure. To avoid such failures, management should be equipped properly to manage things. The organization should have all the necessary resources to proceed with the change process. The planning and preparations should be accurate and effective. They should be ready to equip employees with necessary training and development opportunities. Skills of employees should be enhanced so as to make them capable of accepting changes. Every change is rebirth to a new environment. Therefore, the management must have clear vision and strategy to implement changes. Any change which are wrongly implemented would bring negative result. The leader should know how the changes would affect each and every person separately and also the organization as a whole. Skilled change management teams can easily embrace the organization's emotional energy and they can lead the organization towards success. Okay, hope that you got some ideas on change management. Let's join together with another topic in the next class. Thank you.